So, think you know the internet? Think again. We use it every single day for pretty much everything. It feels so familiar, right? But the reality is, the internet is this vast, complex, and pretty weird that most of us just take for granted. We open a browser, type something in, and the information just appears. But what's happening behind the scenes? What are the strange stories and unbelievable stats that make up this digital world? It's way more fascinating than you might imagine. This digital universe has a history, a physical presence, and some quirks that are genuinely mind-bending. It's not just a cloud, it's a massive, tangible infrastructure with a story full of pioneers, happy accidents, and staggering numbers. We're so used to the seamless experience, we rarely question the mechanics or the sheer scale. It's like driving a car every day without ever wondering how the engine works. But trust me, once you peek under the hood, you'll never look at your Wi-Fi signal the same way again. That's what we're going to do today. We're diving deep into the hidden side of the web. I've pulled together a list that goes beyond the usual trivia. We're going to explore the surprising, the strange, and the monumental. So get ready, because here are 10 surprising facts about the internet that will blow your mind. Alright, first up, let's talk about weight. What if I told you that the entire internet, all of it, weighs about as much as a single strawberry? It sounds completely absurd, but it's technically true. The physics behind it is pretty cool. The internet is fundamentally about information. That information is stored and transmitted as electrons, billions and billions of them, constantly in motion. Now let's talk about scale, but with people. It's easy to feel like everyone is online, but the actual number is still kind of staggering when you hear it. As of right now, over 5 billion people use the internet. Let that sink in. That's more than half the world's population, all connected to this single global network. Every time you post a photo, send a message, or join a video call, you're part of a community that spans continents, cultures, and time zones. So, with billions of us sending trillions of messages, where did it all begin? You have to go all the way back to 1971. The very first email was sent by a computer engineer named Ray Tomlinson. He was working on ARPANET, which was the precursor to the modern internet. He figured out a way to send a message from one computer to another, which was a huge breakthrough at the time. And what was in that historic first email? Was it some profound, world-changing message? Nope. Tomlinson himself said it was probably something like QWERTY or testing 1 2 3. It was just a test message, a string of characters to see if the system actually worked. He was also the guy who chose the @ symbol to separate the user's name from the host machine's name, a convention we still use in every single email today. Here's a number for you, 1.8 billion. That's roughly how many websites exist on the internet. It sounds massive, and honestly, it is. There's a website for pretty much anything you can imagine. But here's the twist. The vast majority of them are completely inactive. They're like digital ghost towns, abandoned projects, forgotten blogs from 2005, placeholder pages for businesses that never launched. They're just sitting there taking up a domain name but not being updated or even visited. Estimates suggest that less than 200 million of those 1.8 billion websites are actually active. That means for every one active, updated website you might visit, there are about 8 or 9 others that are just dormant. Okay, so what about visuals? The internet today is dominated by images and videos, but what was the very first photo ever uploaded to the World Wide Web? It wasn't a picture of a cat or a landscape or a scientific breakthrough. It was a picture of a comedy band from Geneva, Switzerland. The band was called Les Horribles Cernettes, which translates to The Horrible CERN Girls. They were an all-female parody pop group made up of secretaries and partners of scientists. CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. The photo was taken and edited in 1992 by Tim Berners-Lee's colleague, Silvano De Gennaro. Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, needed a test photo to put on his new web thing, and this was the picture that happened to be on hand. When you think of the internet, you might picture satellites in space, Wi-Fi signals floating through the air. And while those play a role, they are a tiny, tiny part of the story. The truth is, the internet is overwhelmingly physical. Over 97% of all international data travels not through the air, but through a massive network of fiber optic cables laid on the ocean floor. These are the real backbone of the internet. The superhighways that connect continents and carry our data at nearly the speed of light. Hundreds of these cables span thousands of miles, crisscrossing the globe deep underwater. They're about the thickness of a garden hose. They're laid by specialized ships in a process that takes months or even years. These cables let you watch a video hosted on a server in Europe while you're in the United States with almost no delay. So, the cloud isn't really in the clouds at all. It's mostly at the bottom of the ocean. We all use Google, but honestly, the sheer volume it handles is hard to comprehend. Let's try to break it down. Every single second of every single day, Google processes over 99,000 searches. By the time I finish this sentence, hundreds of thousands of new queries will have been entered. That's more than 8.5 billion searches a day, over 3 trillion searches a year. The scale is astronomical. It's become the definitive index of human curiosity, our collective brain. This wasn't always the case. In 1998, Google answered about 10,000 searches per day. Now they do almost 10 times that amount every single second. This insane growth proves how integral search is to our lives. We don't just search for facts anymore. We search for products, for directions, for how to fix things, for what our symptoms mean. We all say it, surfing the internet. But have you ever stopped to wonder where that phrase actually came from? It feels so natural now, but someone had to come up with it. That someone was a librarian named Jean Armour Polly. In 1992, she was writing an article about using the internet. She was looking for a good title, a metaphor to make this new intimidating technology feel more accessible and fun. She was using a mouse pad with a picture of a surfer and the words information surfer, and that was it. The light bulb went on. She titled her article, Surfing the Internet. The term stuck. Webcams are everywhere now, built into our laptops, our phones, our doorbells. But the very first webcam had a much more mundane, yet critical purpose: watching a coffee pot. This happened back in 1991 at Cambridge University. In the main computer lab, there was a single coffee pot serving a whole building of researchers. People would walk all the way to the kitchen only to find the pot empty. A classic engineering problem. A few clever researchers pointed a camera at the coffee pot. They wrote a program to take a picture a few times a minute and display it on the local network. Anyone in the building could check before making the trip. In 1993, they connected it to the World Wide Web, and anyone in the world could see the Trojan Room coffee pot. It became an early internet sensation and ran until 2001. All right, last one. And this is a big one because people get it wrong all the time. The internet and the World Wide Web are not the same thing. It's a classic tech misconception, like thinking a car is the same thing as a road. The internet is the road. It's the global network of computers, servers, routers, cables. It's the hardware and protocols that connect everything together. It's the foundation. The World Wide Web, on the other hand, is just one of many services that runs on top of the internet. It's the system of interconnected websites and documents connected by hyperlinks and URLs. Think of it this way. The internet is the network that allows things like email, file transfers, online gaming, the World Wide Web. The web is probably the most popular and visible part of the internet, but it's not the whole thing. It's a crucial distinction that helps you understand how this whole system is layered. So there you have it. 10 facts that hopefully give you a new appreciation for the massive, strange, and incredible network we use every single day. From its physical weight being compared to a strawberry to the sheer scale of 5 billion users and trillions of searches. The internet is one of the most significant inventions in human history. It's easy to forget the complex history and the mind-boggling engineering that makes it all possible with just a click or a tap. The story of the internet is far from over. In many ways, it's just getting started. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new, hit that subscribe button for more amazing facts. It really helps the channel out, and you won't miss what's coming next. Let me know in the comments which of these facts surprised you the most. Peace.